The sun beat down mercilessly on the dusty streets of Mushin, Lagos, where the air smelled of burnt engine oil, roasted corn, and the faint sweetness of overripe plantains. Under a crooked wooden shelter patched with old zinc sheets, Chike Okonkwo hunched over the open bonnet of a battered Toyota Hilux. Sweat traced clean lines through the black grease on his arms as he wrestled with a stubborn alternator. Chike was 28, but the lines on his face spoke of more years. He had learned the trade from his late father, who always said, "A good mechanic doesn't fix cars, he saves lives on the road." These days, Chike fixed anything with wheels for whatever people could pay. 2,000 naira for an oil change, 5,000 if the carburetor needed coaxing back to life. Enough to eat gari and beans most evenings, sometimes with a small piece of fish if business was kind. He wiped his brow with the back of his wrist and glanced up. That's when he saw her again. She sat slumped against the wall of Mom Ngozi's abandoned provision shop next door, knees drawn to her chest, head resting on folded arms. Her dress, once cream, now the color of the laterite earth, was torn at the shoulder. Flies hovered around her cracked lips. Yesterday she had been there too, motionless, as if waiting for the ground to swallow her whole. The day before that, same place. No one bothered her. In Mushin, people minded their own suffering. Chike had tried to ignore her. But this afternoon, something shifted. Maybe it was the way her chest rose so shallowly, like a bird trapped under a heavy stone. Maybe it was the memory of his younger sister, Neka, who had wasted away from malaria when they couldn't afford hospital fees. Whatever it was, he couldn't walk away. He set down his spanner, reached into a small cooler, and pulled out the foil plate Mama Bose had sold him at lunch. Jollof rice with stewed chicken, the kind that still carried heat hours later. He hadn't finished it. Business had been slow. Sister," he called softly, crouching a few feet away so as not to startle her. "You day here since morning?" No response. Only the faint flutter of her eyelids. Chike sighed, glanced around. No one was watching, and moved closer. He opened the plate. The aroma of fried tomatoes, thyme, and curry rose like a small mercy. He scooped a spoonful with his fingers, the way people ate when there were no spoons, and held it toward her lips. A beg, opened small. Just small. Her eyes cracked open, dark, glassy, fever-bright. For a moment she stared at him like he was a dream. Then her lips parted, trembling. He fed her the first bite. She chewed slowly, painfully, swallowing with effort. A tear slipped down her cheek, mixing with the dirt. He fed her another. And another. When the plate was half empty, she tried to push his hand away, weak. "Enough," she whispered, voice hoarse like dry leaves. "Thank you." Chike shook his head. "No be thanks yet. You never finish." He stayed there until the plate was clean, wiping her mouth gently with the edge of his work shirt. She watched him the whole time, silent, as if memorizing his face. When he finally stood, legs cramped, he looked down at her. "You get name." She hesitated, then murmured, "Amara." "Amara," he repeated. "Beautiful. Fitting, even in this state. I be Chike. If you still day here tomorrow, I go bring food again. But you must try stand up small. This sun no day play." She nodded once, barely. As he returned to the Hilux, he felt the eyes of the street on him. A few apprentices snickered from across the road. "Chike Don turned good Samaritan now? That girl fit Biog Banjo," one shouted. Chike ignored them. He picked up his spanner and went back to work, but his mind stayed with a girl called Amara. That night, after closing the shop, he lay on his thin mattress in the one-room face-me-I-face-you apartment he shared with two cousins. The ceiling fan spun lazily above, stirring the humid air. He thought about the way she had looked at the food, like it was the first kindness the world had shown her in a long time. He didn't know who she was, where she came from, or why she had ended up dying slowly on the roadside. He only knew one thing. Tomorrow he would buy 2 plates from Mama Bose. One for him, one for her. Because in this city that chewed people up and spat out bones, sometimes the smallest act, a spoonful of jollof, a moment of sitting beside someone, was the only thing keeping the darkness from winning completely. And somewhere, far from the grease and dust, a powerful man in a blue suit had already started searching. But that part of the story was still hidden, waiting like a car engine that hadn't yet been turned on. The next morning came with the usual chorus of Mushin, Okada engines roaring like angry bees, church bells clanging for early service, and the sharp cry of "pure water" from girls balancing trays on their heads. Chaik woke before dawn, the way he always did, and boiled water on his small kerosene stove for tea. He thought of Amara while the kettle hissed. By 8 o'clock he was already at the shop, tools laid out, waiting for the first customer. But his eyes kept drifting to the spot beside Mom Ngozi's old shop. She was still there. Same torn dress. Same defeated posture. But today she sat up a little straighter, back against the wall, watching the street with tired eyes. Chaik bought 2 plates of jollof from Mama Bose again, one with extra chicken leg because the woman had smiled and said, "You day feed person way no be your wife?" He ignored the teasing and carried both plates over. "Morning, Amara," he said, squatting beside her. "See food again. This one get extra meat." She looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether he was real or a trick of the heat. Then she took the plate with shaking hands. This time she ate more steadily, though still slowly. Between bites she spoke in fragments. I know how I land here." Chaik nodded, not pressing. People in Lagos carried stories too heavy to unpack all at once. "Yesterday you save me," she continued, voice low. "I think say na the end. My head day hot like fire. Body weak pass rag." "You day sick?" he asked. She touched her forehead. "Malaria. And hunger. 2 things way fit kill person quick. Chaik sucked his teeth. "You suppose go hospital?" Amara gave a small, bitter laugh that turned into a cough. "Hospital? With Wetten? I no get 1 kobo. Even the transport money to anywhere dawn finish." He studied her face. Despite the dirt and exhaustion, there was something refined about her features. High cheekbones, long lashes, the kind of skin that glowed when it wasn't parched. She didn't look like the usual street girls who slept rough in Mushin. Something didn't add up. "Where you from?" he asked carefully. She looked away. "Abuja. But things happen. Family wala. I run come Lagos thinking say I fit start again. But Lagos no day forgive person way no get connection." Chaik didn't push further. Instead he said, "Finish the food. After that, I go carry you go clinic. Small one near the market. The nurse na my sister's friend. She go treat you on credit. I go stand for you." Amara's eyes widened. "Why you day do this? You no even know me." He shrugged. "My papa used talk say, if you see person drowning and you get rope, you no go throw am because you never meet the person before. I get small rope. Make I use am." She stared at him, tears gathering again, but this time they weren't from pain. She wiped them quickly with the back of her hand. After she finished eating, Chaik helped her stand. Her legs wobbled like a newborn goat's. He held her elbow gently, steadying her as they crossed the road to the small blue-painted clinic with the sign Hope Medical Center, God is able. Inside, Nurse Chioma took one look at Amara and clucked her tongue. "Chaik, this one dawn nearly pie. Malaria plus severe dehydration. Bring her inside quick." While Nurse Chioma set up the drip and gave Amara injections, Chaik waited on the plastic chair outside, flipping through an old newspaper someone had left behind. That was when he noticed the black Range Rover with tinted windows that slowed down as it passed the clinic. The vehicle paused for almost 10 seconds before moving on. Something about it felt deliberate. He shook the feeling off. Mushin was full of big cars these days. Politicians, Yahoo boys, pastors. Nothing special. But later, as evening fell and Amara slept under the drip, Nurse Chioma pulled Chaik aside. "Chaik, that girl, she get money inside her phone." Chaik frowned. "Phone? She no even get bag. She hide 'em well. Inside her brassiere. Old Nokia. When I day clean her, I see 'em. The phone lock with pattern, but I charge 'em small. One message pop up. From somebody way save the number as Daddy." Chaik felt his stomach tighten. "Wetten the message talk." Nurse Chioma lowered her voice. "It say, Amara, where are you? I have searched everywhere. Come home. Everything will be forgiven. Please. Daddy." And he send am since 3 weeks ago. Chike stared at the sleeping girl through the half-open curtain. Her face looked peaceful now, the fever breaking. But the questions in his head were only beginning to burn. He didn't know it yet, but the man in the blue suit had already arrived in Lagos. His name was Chief Reginald Obayago, oil magnate, chairman of Obayago Energy, one of the richest men in the Niger Delta. And for 3 weeks he had turned the city upside down looking for the daughter who had disappeared after a bitter family quarrel. The Range Rover would pass again tomorrow. And the day after. But tonight, Chike only knew one thing. He had pulled a dying girl from the edge of the grave with nothing but 2 plates of jollof and stubborn kindness. And somehow, that small act had just opened a door to a world he never imagined he would enter. The third day dawned with a light drizzle that turned Mushin's red dust into sticky mud. Chike arrived early, sweeping the shopfront while keeping one eye on the clinic across the road. Amara had spent the night under observation. Nurse Chioma said the malaria was retreating, but she still needed another bag of drip and proper food. Chike carried a small black polythene bag, hot pap and akara from Mama Bo's, plus a sachet of glucose powder. He also brought a clean shirt, one of his own, a faded blue polo that was too big for Amara but better than the torn dress clinging to her like a second skin. Inside the clinic, Amara was sitting up on the narrow bed, the drip stand beside her like a thin metal guardian. Her face had lost some of the deathly pallor. Her eyes were clearer, though still guarded. "Morning," Chike greeted, setting the food on the small side table. "You look like person Wei won fight back today." She managed a small smile, the first real one he'd seen. "I feel better. The medicine day work." "Thank you, Chike. I know how to repay you." "No need for repayment," he said, pulling the plastic chair closer. "Just chop. You need strength." While she ate, Chike noticed the old Nokia phone now resting on the blanket beside her. It was powered on, screen cracked but alive. "You check the message?" he asked quietly. Amara's spoon paused mid-air. She looked down at the phone, then back at him. "Yes. Last night. He sent more. Every day since I left." Chike waited. He didn't want to force the story out, but he needed to understand what he was stepping into. After a long silence, Amara spoke, voice barely above a whisper. "My father is Chief Reginald Obayago. You fit don't hear the name before. Obayago Energy, oil, gas, all those big contracts with Shell and Total. He get house for Maitama, Abuja, and another one for Banana Island here in Lagos. Private jet. Everything." Chike's eyebrows rose slowly. He had heard the name. Who in Nigeria hadn't? The man was on television almost every week, ribbon cuttings, donations to churches, pictures shaking hands with governors. "And you run from all that?" he asked. Amara nodded. "My father want me marry one man, son of another big man in Port Harcourt. Oil money marrying oil money. I say no. The man day old enough to be my uncle, and he already get 2 wives. I tell my father I no go do am. He vex. He say if I no marry, I no be his daughter again. He cut me off, freeze my account, take my car, tell security no let me enter the house. I leave with only the cloth on my body and small money inside my bag." She swallowed hard. "I come Lagos thinking say I fit disappear, find work, start small. But Lagos no easy. The money finish quick. Friend way I stay with kick me out when I no fit pay rent. Then sickness come. I wander, sleep for bus stop, then end up for that roadside." Chike let out a slow breath. "And now him day find you." "Yes." "The messages, him sound different. Like person way don fear lose something forever. But I still day angry. He treat me like property, no like daughter." Chike rubbed his chin, grease still under his nails. "You wan go back?" "I no," she admitted. "Part of me wan hear him beg. Part of me wan disappear forever so he go feel wetin e mean to lose person." Before Chike could reply, the clinic door opened. A tall man in a crisp white agbada stepped in, flanked by 2 younger men in black suits. The older man's presence filled the small room like sudden thunder. Gold cufflinks caught the fluorescent light. His face was familiar from billboards and newspapers. Chief Reginald Obayago himself. Nurse Chioma froze behind the counter. The apprentices outside stopped sweeping. Chief Obayago's eyes scanned the room and landed on Amara. For a second, the powerful man looked like any father, eyes wet, shoulders dropping with relief. "Amara," he said, voice thick. "My daughter." Amara stiffened. She didn't stand. She just stared at him, the spoon still in her hand. Chief Obayago took one step forward, then stopped when he saw Chike sitting beside the bed. His gaze shifted, sharp, assessing. "And who be this?" he asked, not unkindly, but with the tone of a man used to answers. Chike rose slowly, wiping his hands on his trousers. "I be Chike Okonkwo. The one way see your daughter when she day die for roadside. The one way feed her, carry her go clinic, pay for medicine when she no get nothing." Chief Obayago studied him. Then, unexpectedly, he bowed his head slightly. "Thank you, my son. You saved my life by saving hers." He reached into his pocket and brought out a thick envelope. "This is small token." Chike raised his hand. "I no collect money for doing wetin any human being suppose do." The room went quiet. Even the chief's escorts looked surprised. Chief Obayago smiled, small, genuine. "Then at least let me shake your hand." Chike hesitated, then extended his grease-stained palm. The chief took it firmly, no flinch at the dirt. Amara watched the exchange, her expression unreadable. Chief turned back to her. "Amara, come home. Please. Everything I do because I fear for you. But I see now. I fear too much. I go listen. Just come home." Amara looked at Chike. Then at her father. The drip bag swayed gently above her. She closed her eyes for a long moment. "I go think about it," she said at last. "But no today. I still day weak. And I still day angry." Chief Obayago nodded once. "I go wait. As long as you need." He looked at Chike again. "You be good man, Chike Okonkwo. God go bless you. And if you ever need anything at all, you fit call me." He placed a gold-embossed card on the side table, then left as quietly as he had come, the Range Rover purring outside. When the door closed, Amara let out a shaky breath. Chike sat back down. "You sure say you want stay?" She looked at him, really looked. "For now, yes. Because for the first time in long time, I feel like person day see me. Not the daughter of Chief Obayago. Just Amara." Outside, the drizzle had stopped. A rainbow arched faintly over the muddy street. And somewhere in the heart of Mushin, two worlds that should never have touched had just brushed against each other, gently, dangerously, irreversibly. The days that followed felt like walking between two different Lagos, one of grease, Okada horns, and Gary soaked in cold water, the other of polished marble, air-conditioned cars, and voices that never shouted. Amara stayed in the small clinic for another 3 days until Nurse Chioma declared her strong enough to leave. She had nowhere to go except back to the roadside or forward into uncertainty. Chike made the decision for both of them without making it feel like one. "You go stay with me small," he told her on the 4th morning, as he helped her fold the thin hospital blanket. "My room no big, but he clean. My cousins don travel go village for Christmas, so space day. You fit rest proper, eat better, think clear." Amara looked at him with that same searching gaze she'd had since the first spoonful of jollof. "You sure? People go talk. Boy and girl under one roof, no family." "Let them talk," Chike said simply. "Na Mushin. Tomorrow dem go talk about another thing. And I no be small boy way no sabi control himself. You be guest. Nothing more." She agreed, quietly grateful. His one-room apartment was behind the mechanic shop, up a narrow staircase of cracked concrete. Inside, one mattress on the floor, a small standing fan, a gas cooker, plastic buckets for water, and clothes hung neatly on nails in the wall. No television, no fridge, but the place smelled of palm oil soap and sunlight. Amara sat on the edge of the mattress the first evening, looking around like she had stepped into a foreign country. "This place, quiet," she said. "Quiet na luxury for here," Chike replied, stirring egusi soup on the cooker. "No generator noise, no party from neighbor. Just crickets and Okada far away." He served her food in 2 enamel plates, One for her, one for him, and they ate sitting on the floor, legs crossed. She ate slowly, savoring every bite as if relearning the taste of home-cooked food. When she finished, she spoke again. My father send driver yesterday. Him say make I come house, say everything ready, room, doctor, even new clothes. I tell the man say I no ready yet. Chike nodded. You day do wetin you suppose do. No rush. But the truth was heavier than he admitted. Every evening when he closed the shop, he saw the black Range Rover parked at the end of the street, engine idling, windows up. Not threatening, just waiting. Once, a man in a suit approached Chike politely. Chief say make I tell you thank you again. And say anytime you ready, him go like meet you proper. No pressure. Chike had only nodded. Tell am I day here. Inside, though, the weight pressed harder. Amara was healing, color returning to her cheeks, laughter coming in small bursts, but she was also changing. She helped him sweep the shop, learned how to hand him tools without being asked, even laughed when customers called her Oga wife. Yet at night, when the city quieted, she would sit by the small window and stare at her Nokia phone, reading old messages, rereading new ones. One evening, after 10 days of this fragile peace, Amara spoke the words Chike had been dreading. I think say I go see him. Chike was washing plates in the bucket. He didn't turn around. When? Tomorrow. I want talk to him face to face. No driver, no big car. Just me and him. Chike dried his hands slowly. You want me follow you? She hesitated. I want go alone first. But, I want say, no matter what'n happen, you be the first person way treat me like human being in long time. Not princess, not daughter of big man, just Amara. He looked at her then, really looked. The girl who had been dying on the roadside was gone. In her place was someone stronger, but still carrying scars. The next morning, Amara wore the blue polo Chike had given her, tied at the waist, and one of his old caps to shield her face. She took a bike to the address Chief had sent, a private estate in Ikoyi, far from Mushin's dust. Chike stayed behind, pretending to work, but his hands shook every time he picked up a spanner. Hours later, when the sun was setting gold over the rooftops, Amara returned. She didn't speak at first. She simply sat beside him on the mattress, head on her knees. He cry, she said finally. My father. I never see him cry before. He beg. He say he's sorry for everything. The pressure, the marriage talk, the way him cut me off. Him say him don't realize say money no fit by peace when you lose person you love. Chike listened. I tell him say I forgive him, she continued. But I tell him say I no go come back to Banana Island yet. I want live my own life small. Find work, maybe school again, stand on my own 2 feet. Him agree. Him say him go support me, but no control. And him ask after you. Me. Chike asked, surprised. Yes. Him say you be the kind of man Nigeria need more of. Him want help you. Maybe open bigger shop, send you for training abroad, anything. But I tell him make him no rush you. Say you go decide when you ready. Chike let out a long breath. I no need big shop. This one feed me. But, maybe one day. Amara smiled, small and real. One day. That night they sat outside on the staircase, watching the street lamps flicker on one by one. Somewhere far away, a generator coughed to life. Somewhere closer, a child laughed. 2 worlds had met, clashed, and somehow found a narrow bridge between them. And on that bridge, for the first time, both Chike and Amara felt something new, hope that didn't come with conditions. 3 months passed like the slow turning of harmattan wind, dry, dusty, but carrying promise. Mushin remained the same, loud, crowded, unforgiving. Yet for Chike and Amara, the corners they occupied had softened. Amara had found a small job at a community NGO near Ajij, a place that taught young girls basic computer skills and tailoring. The pay was modest, barely enough for transport and data, but it was hers. She woke early, plaited her hair neatly, wore simple Ankara skirts Chike's aunt had sent from the village, and left the apartment each morning with purpose. At night she returned tired but bright-eyed, sharing stories of the girls she taught, how one had just written her first email to a cousin in Canada. Chike's shop had grown quietly. Not because of money from any chief, but because word spread. That mechanic way save big man Pekin, people said. Customers came from farther away, Suralere, even Ikeja. He hired 2 more apprentices, bought a second compressor on credit, and started saving small for a plot of land behind the shop. He still ate Gary most evenings, but now with extra stew, and sometimes a bottle of chilled Maltina when the day was good. They never spoke of romance. Not directly. But the space between them filled with unspoken things. The way Amara always left his plate covered when she cooked, the way Chaik checked the generator fuel so she wouldn't sleep in darkness, the late-night talks on the staircase about dreams bigger than Mushin. One Saturday afternoon, Chief Reginaldo Bayago arrived unannounced. No entourage this time. Just him, in a simple navy kaftan, driving his own Toyota Camry, no Range Rover, no sirens. He parked at the end of the street like any other visitor and walked the dusty path to the shop. Chaik saw him first. He wiped his hands on a rag and stepped out. "Chief," he greeted, respectful but not bowing. "Chaik," the older man replied, voice warm. "I come to see my daughter." "And to see you." Amara appeared from the back, wiping her hands on her apron. She froze for a second, then walked forward and hugged her father, brief but real. No tears this time. Just quiet acceptance. They sat on 3 plastic chairs outside the shop. Chief looked around, the grease-stained floor, the half-fixed cars, the apprentices watching from a distance. "I see say you day build something here," he said to Amara. "I proud of you." Amara smiled. "I day try. Small. Chief turned to Chaik. "And you, my son. I hear say your business day grow. I no come to force anything on you. But I want make you know, door open. If you ever want expand, training, new tools, even small loan with no interest, I day here. Not because of Amara alone. Because you be the kind of man way this country need." Chaik looked at the ground for a moment, then met the chief's eyes. "Thank you, sir. I go think about But for now, this place day enough. Day teach me patience. And remind me say good thing no need big money to start." Chief nodded, respect clear in his face. That kind of wisdom no day buy for market. They talked for almost an hour, about Nigeria, about oil prices, about how young people were leaving villages for cities that swallowed them. Chief spoke of his own regrets, how he had chased wealth and lost time with his only child. Amara listened without anger, adding her own quiet thoughts. When the sun began to dip, Chief stood. "I go. But before I leave, I want ask one thing." He looked between them. "Una day together?" The question hung like smoke. Amara's face warmed. Chaik rubbed the back of his neck, grease still there. We day take 'em slow," Amara said. "No rush. Life don't teach us say fast thing fit scatter." Chief smiled, wide, genuine. "That na wisdom too. But when Una ready, I go like stand as father for both of Una. No condition. Just blessing." He shook Chaik's hand again, longer this time. Then he hugged Amara, whispering something only she could hear. She nodded, eyes shining. After the Camry drove away, Chaik and Amara stood in silence for a long while. "You think say e mean Chaik asked at last. "I think so," she replied. For the first time, him no day control. Him just day hope. That night they cooked together, yam and egg stew, the way Chaik's mother used to make it. They ate outside, under the stars that fought through the city haze. Amara spoke softly. "Chaik, if one day we decide say this thing between us fit grow, you go want He looked at her, really looked. The girl who had once been dying now glowed with quiet strength. "I don't want since the day I feed you that first spoon of jollof," he said. "But I want right. No because of money, no because of name. Just because na you." She reached for his hand. Their fingers laced together, grease and all. "Then we go take 'em slow," she said. "And when time reach, we go cross that bridge together." Somewhere in the distance, an Okada revved past. A child cried. A generator coughed awake. But on that small staircase in Mushin, 2 hearts beat steady. Proof that sometimes, the strongest bridges aren't built with steel or money, but with kindness, patience, and the courage to see another person clearly. 1 year later, the harmattan had come and gone again, leaving behind the familiar dry chill that made mornings crisp and evenings gentle. Mushin had not changed much, the same red dust, the same chorus of generators, the same children chasing tires down the street. But on a small plot behind Chaik's original shop, something new stood, a modest workshop with fresh blue paint, a proper signboard that read, Okonkwo Auto Solutions, quality first, always, and a small waiting area with plastic chairs and a fan that actually spun fast. Chaik had not taken Chief's money outright. Instead, he accepted a low-interest loan through a government youth entrepreneurship scheme the Chief quietly recommended. He repaid it ahead of time. The new space allowed him to take bigger jobs, air conditioning repairs, full engine overhauls, and hire 3 more apprentices, all from the same streets he grew up on. He still got his hands dirty every day. He said it kept him grounded. Amara had completed a 6-month computer diploma at a vocational center in Ikeja. She now worked full-time at the NGO, training more girls and even starting a small savings group for them. On weekends, she helped at the workshop, keeping records, talking to customers, turning the rough edges of the place into something welcoming. People called her Auntie Amara now, and she wore the title like a crown. They had married quietly 6 months earlier, under an almond tree in Chaik's village in Anambra. No big owambi, no society pages, just family, close friends, and a pastor who spoke of love that builds bridges where walls once stood. Chief Reginaldo Bayago had walked his daughter down the makeshift aisle himself, eyes shining with a mixture of pride and humility. He wore no agbada that day, just a simple white shirt and black trousers, blending in like any other father. After the ceremony, they returned to Lagos and continued living in the same one-room apartment for another 3 months. Only when the new workshop was ready did they move into a small 2-bedroom flat nearby. Nothing fancy, but with space for a proper kitchen and a small balcony where Amara grew tomatoes and peppers in plastic buckets. On this particular Saturday evening, the sun was setting in a blaze of orange when Chief Obayago arrived again. This time he came with his wife, Amara's mother, who had been living quietly in London during the worst of the family rift. She stepped out of the Camry in a simple wrapper and head tie, looking older but softer, the kind of softness that comes from time and regret. They all sat outside the new workshop on benches Chaik had welded himself. Amara served cold drinks and chin-chin she had learned to make from Chaik's aunt. The apprentices had gone home, the street quieted down. Chief looked around, taking in the clean workshop, the neatly parked cars waiting for Monday, the signboard glowing under the new security light. You don build something real here, he said to Chaik. Not just business. Legacy. Chaik smiled, humble. Na God and hard work, sir. And people way believe say small thing fit grow. Amara's mother reached for her daughter's hand. I never thank you properly, my daughter. For forgiving us. For giving us chance to start again. Amara squeezed her mother's fingers. We all day learn, mama. Na the learning way matter. Chief cleared his throat. There is one thing I want do today. No be gift. Na promise. He brought out a small envelope, not thick like before, but slim. Inside were 2 documents. One was the title deed for the plot of land behind the workshop, fully transferred to Chaik's name. The other was a letter from a technical institute in Germany offering Chaik a 3-month training scholarship in advanced automotive diagnostics, fully sponsored, no strings attached. I know day by your life, Chief said quickly. This na doorway you fit choose to open or leave closed. The land already your own. The training, if you want go, go. Learn, come back, teach your boys. Make this place even better. Chaik took the envelope, turned it over in his hands. He looked at Amara. She nodded once, eyes bright. I go think about 'em well, Chaik said. But thank you, sir. From my heart. As night fell, Amara's parents left quietly. The couple sat alone on the bench, shoulder to shoulder, watching the street lamps come on one by one. Amara rested her head on Chaik's shoulder. You happy? More than happy, he replied. I get food for Bell, roof overhead, work way I love, and woman way see me for who I be. Wetin more person fit ask? She smiled. Maybe small Pekin running around this place one day. He laughed softly. Ego happen. When time reach. They sat in comfortable silence, listening to the city breathe around them. Somewhere nearby, a child sang a Sunday school song. A generator hummed. A bike passed with laughter trailing behind it. From the roadside where a dying girl once sat, waiting for the end, had grown a life, 2 lives, woven together by the simplest thread, 1 plate of jollof, 1 act of kindness, 1 choice to see another person fully. And in that quiet evening in Mushin, under a sky full of stars struggling to shine through the city lights, Chaik and Amara knew the truth that no money could ever buy. Sometimes, the richest stories don't start with billions. They start with a spoon, a stranger, and the stubborn belief that every human being deserves to be fed, seen, and saved.